Coming up this week on Meeting Minds, we have a really fun guest coming to us to talk about custom photo activations and how you can make those a part of your virtual event. Coming up this week on Meeting Minds.
This is Meeting Minds with Charles Ide. Join Charles and his co-host Lisa as they chat with leaders in today's events world on how you can take your events to the next level. Broadcasting from the IdeCom studios in Minneapolis, Minnesota, this is Meeting Minds with Charles Ide.
Welcome back to Meeting Minds. Zach, thanks so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
Remind me, where are you calling in from today?
I'm just outside of New York City in Fort Lee, New Jersey,
Very nice.
where it is snowing yet again.
Oh my gosh, it's been a wild winter. And I know, this podcast will go live in a couple weeks, but we are in the middle of, I think, the worst sort of nationwide storm that we've had in years.
It's making up for last year. I bought a snowblower last year, didn't use it once, and now it's getting its money's worth.
There you go. You're getting some money's worth. Yeah, no, it's crazy. Before we started recording, we were talking about Texas, and it's so crazy. I didn't realize that they were on their own electrical grid where if anything goes wrong, they're just kind of SOL. So
Yeah, it's crazy. It's one of those things you don't think about what 2 inches of snow or ice can do to an area that's not prepared for it. Be it plumbing, they don't have the salt trucks that the Northeast does, the plows, those kind of things.
I know. And what's crazy is all of that plays into events in a crazy way
Yeah.
because we're doing everything virtual now. And, like I have been saying, if you do everything live, there's so many risks. And especially now with internet going out and all of this, you cannot have enough backup plans.
You think about live events and something like this would cancel an event. You're like, well, virtual would be the greatest backup. But when power goes out across the state and no one has internet, then what?
You're just in the dark, I guess.
Yeah.
So, Zach, tell me about your background. Tell us about Studio Z and how you got into custom photo activations.
Sure. So I have a dual major in TV production and entertainment marketing. I got into TV at a young age, graduated college, took a job at ESPN, and I have always loved photography. I've been doing it since high school, college, and forward. And I was at a wedding and I saw a photo booth and I was like, this is cool. I've never seen this before. I hadn't been to a lot of weddings. I was, 21, young. And thought, this is something I think I could do. And I wanted a hobby, a side hustle, if you will, to just supplement my income, to be able to go hang out with friends on the weekend, book a trip if I wanted to. And it just took off. And a year later, I moved to the New York area for a different TV job. And that's when things just exploded. I was opened up to the event world that is New York City and the surrounding area. And yeah, it's crazy how quick it grew year after year. And we started, from a 4-figure business to a 5 to a 6-figure business. And then, 2020 hit and we were on our way to record numbers and such an exciting year. And then just that halt hit. And I mean, you felt it, I felt it, everyone felt it. And then it's now what? But here we are 11 months later, and now I question, the virtual events world is thriving.
It is. It's really starting to pick up. So
Yeah.
So when you started out, were you? So I've been to a lot of weddings and galas, and they've had photo booths. Were you kind of doing the kind of traditional thing where you've got the funny boas and glasses and hats and all that, or what kind of photo booths were you doing?
If I look back to 2012, when I first started at this, when I look at those photos, I cringe. I was young. I didn't have a lot of money, and I was like, I need to get props. And I worked on a show called Sports Nation for ESPN that just had a scene doc full of kitschy items, and I rated it. And I'm like, I'm just gonna borrow all this for my first event. And for the first year, I probably had 2 6-foot-long tables full of props. I mean, I would go the day after Halloween to Party City, to Spirit, to Target, and just buy everything that was 90% off. And now I'm such a minimalist. My brand has evolved so much that, we went from the hey, here's your stereotypical kitschy, put on wigs and stuff, to we really want to showcase the photography and the lasting memories. And I try to tell, if it's a social event, especially, I talk to the brides and I say, do you really want someone wearing large Mickey Mouse hands? Or do you want like a great shot of your bridal party that you're gonna make an 8x10 of, or a canvas for your wall that you're gonna look back in 20 years and be like, that is an awesome photo. This is a great memory, and not something like silly and you can't see Uncle Tom's face, And like now we only use prop signs and like little signs that we have with just a few sayings. Maybe we bring some glasses, but now in COVID, I'm not even doing anything.
Yeah,
But
I mean, now you have to think about germs on everything.
Yeah, oh, no.
It's crazy.
I'm
So,
all for less is more. And
yeah.
and I don't know how it is in other areas, but the client doesn't know what they don't have. And if I show up without these props, I never get asked, where's the props? They no one they don't mind it unless I like actively tell them we're not bringing props, and then they're like, whoa, wait a second. It's
There's a real thing that I've talked to people about. It's called decision fatigue. And it's like, if you have too many options, it's harder for you to make a decision on one than if you only have like two choices. So I think you're right, minimalizing it. And also to your point of those nice pictures that are memories, like one of my biggest regrets of my own wedding is that we didn't take enough pictures of like all the guests and all the people and even some of the family members. We didn't get like full pictures of them. So if we had had something like you're talking about, that would have been such a good memory.
Yeah.
So Zach, when COVID hit and you had to transition your business from, the props and the on-site, how did you go about that?
Yeah, so quickly got into the idea of virtual photo and other virtual activations. And we took an out-of-the-box software and sort of made it our own, and just started offering it. And, we were one of the first to do it. So the nice thing is when you enter a new niche, you can rank pretty quickly on Google and you have that authority, which was great. And it opened this world to all new clients. I mean, I've talked to agencies I've never spoken to, brands I've never spoken to, and this world became fascinating to me. And I was like, okay, started doing like a wedding or two. And I'm like, weddings, this is not what I want to do virtually. It's about corporate. There's going to be a shift. There's going to be a time when these companies are going to say, I need to spend our budget, but I can't spend our budget on a holiday party. I can't do it on a conference. But, it's that use it or lose it mindset that a lot of companies have. And we saw the pivot to virtual, especially coming into Q3. And all these companies, it was a lot of nonprofits. It was a lot of internal team building. And then started the brand campaigns. And they came fast and furious. And we started creating these cool, interactive, fully branded photo experiences. They were embeddable into all the different platforms that I have launched for virtual events or into websites. And then we started shifting to like photo mosaics and gift boxes and prizes and other ways to engage. And we're constantly trying to change it now. I have like a team of coders that I'm not a web designer. I can get my way around some CSS coding and a little HTML, but I have a team of coders that when a client now comes to me and says, hey, here's a PDF of like what we're trying to do. Can you do it? I just say yes. I say, give me, what's your lead time? You got a month? Great, let's do it.
That's so cool. And it's, as you were talking about the gift boxes and things, I'm like, oh, you could actually send out props and fun things to people, and then you could have that fun moment where everyone puts on their silly Mickey Mouse hands and does a photo together. So
we worked with DreamWorks, and they did that exact thing. They went from they must do great internal promotions around new movies, new shows with their own employees. I think they do premiere weeks and premiere nights on their campus now that they can't. They sent out like a box for Halloween with a pumpkin carving kit and stickers and all DreamWorks related things and a postcard that said like, carve your pumpkin, scan this QR and come into the virtual photo booth and show us your creation. And it just created that like sense of community for employees that don't have it anymore. For all of us that are sitting on our couches working every day and don't have the water cooler or don't have the fun family nights to bring your kids to watch, the latest DreamWorks movie.
Yeah. No, that's so fun. So here's a question, and
Yeah.
I'm sure since you work in this world, you'll have an opinion. What do you think of virtual backdrops and backgrounds? Like, have you guys created your own custom ones, or how? Yeah, how do you work with that?
Everything we do in our photo booths, we can do virtual backdrops too. We call it or artificial intelligence. There's a few great third parties that really cornered the market, and I give credit to them. We use them. We pay for their services, and they really took the idea of green screen and created a robust AI that can cut you out from the background in a mere second or two and replace it. And you can do it with video, you can do it with photos, and that's one of like the biggest selling points of what we do is because we can drop people in on their college campus who are remote learning from home. We can put you in that DreamWorks movie. We can put you in any scene, anything possible. Or step and repeats are great when we do fundraising nights.
Those are super fun. So far since last March, what's like the biggest event that you've worked on as far as like number of people?
Number of people. So I'll say the biggest event we've done so far and what we're gearing up to right now.
Ooh, okay.
Because we have a few launching. Our biggest one so far was for Rodan and Fields, which is a beauty brand. And they did similar. They sent a big box out with swag, and it was a 20,000 person, all their retail sales or whatever you call them, the sales reps. Yeah, I don't like to say MLM or pyramid, but
Yes.
you know what we're talking
all
about.
know. Mhm.
And they had their big convention, and it went virtual. So we did 4 days, and we timed specific outputs of the photo booth with timing when different sessions ended or product launches happened. So then they invited them back into the photo booth, said, our new skincare regimen's here. Go take a photo with it. And we made a custom interactive GIF, and we did 10,000 photos in 4 days. It was all over Instagram. There's one thing those kind of companies thrive at, and that's internal marketing. Their sales reps like live and breathe and die the company they work for. And they loved it. And there was a prize aspect to it too. So people were doing it 5-10 times just trying to win the prize. I mean, the prize could have been a book, but like, they were so excited. I was getting emails. Won a book. How do I claim it? I'm like, give it a few days. They'll reach out. Like, you'll get it. Like, I need it right now. Like,
Yeah, with 20,000 people, that's a lot to manage.
yeah. But it was awesome. The client was so happy. That was like the biggest success that I've seen. And it just proved that these virtual events they're here to stay. Now we're gearing up for two things. We're signing with Vans right now, is launching some sort of campaign on their website. They're expecting 20,000 traffic a day. We'll see if that happens. That's the weird thing with the virtual space. You don't know. It's all new. But they have a mascot. It's a giant shoe. And they took a photo shoot of it skating in a skate park and like posing with people. And we cut the face out, and it's essentially you make yourself into the mascot. So it's like face in whole. So that's launching. And then we're doing a year-long project with Ford on the global scale. And internally, they have a new like core competency goal setting for the company, and they call it the plan. So this is a website where you go, you enter your name, your country, your division that you're in, and you type your answer of like how I'm going to promote or succeed in the plan. And that all gets branded with your name and your caption on a photo. It's going into a large worldwide gallery that people can sort by division and country, so they can kind of, it's a team building once again, for all these remote teams. But that's been like 3-4 months in the process, which between GDPR and cybersecurity, which are like all new things in this, I don't know if you guys have dealt with it at all, but it's like a whole new world.
A little bit, because we've built our own platform, which is more so, the landing page where you would view the content, maybe visit like the, sponsors or kind of the trade show booths. So yeah, we have had to go down the road. We use a third party called Auth0, which is like their authentication system to get people's, usernames and passwords in. But yeah, I mean, you really have to make sure
Yeah.
you're secure because this
Europe's
data
taking their
is,
data like seriously,
that's
and
good.
all these events now are open to the world, so that GDPR falls on us as well, even if we're not used to it in the States.
Especially with, and as you were talking, I was thinking to myself, like, all the other kind of fun apps that are out there now, like Face app, and even as you're maybe shopping on a makeup site, I've seen where they allow you to like try on the lipstick through like your camera on a phone, and it's like, yeah, I mean, but then you're giving away your like personal data. They can capture that, so like, where is it going?
And your photo is considered your own personal data. Your likeness under GDPR is considered your personal data, which is like a fascinating thing too.
It is, but no, that's I'm sure you've had to go through even more on the security side than we have. So, yeah. So it sounds like you've got some really fun projects coming up,
Yeah, I hope
and
so.
you're staying busy. Uh, you know, are you finding that more and more people want to incorporate this experience within their event, or are you having to go out and like find clients? How are you getting new business?
It's a lot of organically ranking. It's a lot of word of mouth. We have a full demo on our site, so people can kind of see the product and experience a branded version of the product before they even contact us, which I want. I want them to understand it. And I think people are just looking for gamification and ways to engage. Zoom meetings can only go so far. People are getting bored. They're stir crazy. They need, especially if you're pivoting a whole conference now to virtual, you have to keep people engaged. Whether that's something from us or trivia or, just having MCs come on and break up the nuance of meetings. Gamification is like the it word right now. I keep hearing it. It was a word I never even heard of like 4 months ago, and
Yup, we're hearing it everywhere too. And it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, how do you, because think about it, we can spend all day on our phones on like silly little games, but then we're bored on Zoom and on these virtual events. And it's like, if we could just make them into a game, then people will be more addicted to it.
I mean, and
you know?
it doesn't even have to be a game. It could be a bartender coming on and doing a virtual speakeasy, and that can go, just a visual experience, or the company could send branded kits out and everyone makes an old fashioned together. And there's that team building, there's that breakup and the fun, and then it's taking everything we love about in-person events and the experience of hiring a caterer and the conveyor belts that bring sushi around, and bringing it into your home.
Yeah. Oh, those are such fun ideas. So how do you manage everything remotely? Are you guys utilizing Zoom to capture the photos, or what platform do you use?
Everything's web-based, so any device that has a camera and internet access can access it, and that's what makes it great. Because if people are on their laptops during a conference, it can be embedded into the website that they're streaming on, or you can scan a QR code with your phone and do it on the go. There's really no wrong way to do it. The hardest platform is Zoom, because Zoom is strictly like video, but we tell clients, if you're using a proper streaming setup and you have the ability to like overlay a graphic, pop up the QR code, have the host mention it, drop it in the chat. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Absolutely. I know. It is interesting. We've learned a lot about, the different platforms and what can embed where, and what, the licensing you can't. And it's funny because I think our clients expect us to be able to do anything and everything they ask us to, but there are certain limitations that you have to get around. So that's interesting. So if we have clients that are looking for your services, what's the best way for them to reach you? Like, what size of event really, makes sense? Like, tell us more about that.
StudioZphotobooths.com is our site. Feel free to browse it. You can see all about all of our in-person and virtual offerings on there. Shoot us a note. My big thing is, if you don't see it, ask us. We love custom ideas. Like, it's in our name. Like, if we want to create things for you. My favorite clients are the ones that come with me with some crazy idea, and being able, because maybe it's something I've never thought of, but it's totally doable. And that falls right into an in-person event too. I love those ideas where someone says, we want an overhead camera and a ball pit. Yeah, let's do it. Like, totally. Maybe not now, but one day again soon. But yeah, our website has it all. They can contact us. Give everything a try.
Yeah. No, that sounds great. And I guess I have one more question for you as we're kind of wrapping up. We're kind of going into the time when people are looking at hybrid events now. So that's kind of the way of the future, I think. Are you set up to help people with both aspects, like the in-person and online?
The most interesting analogy I heard on Clubhouse last week was that the event industry, we've been doing hybrid events for decades, but the event industry never really called it that. They never really knew about it. If you take sporting events, like the Super Bowl, for instance, the Super Bowl is a hybrid event. For the people in the stands, it's an in-person experience. And for people at home, there's a million ways that they're taking in the content, they're engaging. In 2021, you could watch every angle of the game on, Verizon, and that's another way people are experiencing it. Even just taking in the commercials, it's a hybrid event, and I think that's what we're going to see in 2021 and beyond. Is this? Hey, some people want to be in Vegas for this conference. Some people want to do it virtually. We're totally set up for it. I'm all for an in-person photo booth that can also be accessed online, or ways that someone online can take a photo with their friend that's in person, and tie it in that way. There's definitely ways about it. I mean, we can do prizes that you can win virtually, or prizes that you can win in person, in a locked safe with a code that you get. Those kind of things. Hybrid's going to be the word. I mean,
think so. Well, I mean, a lot of things are hybrid. Like you mentioned the Super Bowl, and it's funny because I never really thought about it that way.
Neither did I.
But so is, the Oscars are a hybrid event as well. Like a lot of these awards shows and, the Grammys and like all of them are hybrid events. And it is funny how our society has gone, oh, this is all like new, but it's really not.
I mean, like, look at the way QR codes are making a comeback. I mean, they're a product of the 90s and nobody cared about them. No one knew how to use them. Phones didn't have cameras. Now it's natively built in, and TV shows are popping up, hey, scan that QR in the corner if you need, and help us send relief to Texas, or to donate to this charity, or to buy our products.
Half the restaurants I go to, that's how you get access to the menu now. It's it's so interesting.
Or you'll see things with the Oscars, scan this QR to take a behind the scenes look at the control room or the red carpet.
I'm pretty sure our creative director, Keelan, he's getting married this summer, and he's using a QR code on the back of his wedding invite to like learn more about the wedding. So
it's so much easier than, go to Zola or weddingwire.com/Kim and Tim forever. Like,
it's too much to type, and someone's going to forget a character or a slash or something. So yeah, no, it's so smart. It is interesting how trends are coming back. Things we thought were dead are resurfacing. So
like fashion, everything's cyclical.
I know. Don't get me started on the middle parts and all of the Gen Z things. It's crazy.
Mom jeans and all that.
Oh, I know. Well, thank you again for being on Meeting Minds.
My pleasure.
For those listening, make sure to check out Zach and Studio Z. It's really cool stuff. I'm sure we'll find a partnership for you with our team someday soon.
Love to work with you guys.
And for everyone listening, make sure you subscribe to Meeting Minds. Check us out on YouTube. You can watch this video live. And then make sure you check us out on Instagram and LinkedIn, all the spots, and like and subscribe. And we'll see you back here on Meeting Minds next time.
Thank you for listening to Meeting Minds. Meeting Minds. Brought to you by IDCOM Event Production. Changing the world one audience at a time. Follow IDCOM Creative and Meeting Minds podcast on Instagram. And check out meetingminds.org to find show notes for this episode, past episodes, and inspiration. As always, please subscribe, leave a review, and tune in next week for another episode of Meeting Minds.